All right. The topic that I'm going to talk about is a bit controversial. So let's start with a statutory warning. No product managers were harmed in the making of this presentation. The talk that I will be talking about is, do we still need product managers? What does a product manager do? This, in fact, was the very first question I asked myself when I was tasked to take the role of a product manager. And unlike everybody, or like everybody in this room, when you are faced with such questions, you go look out for popular opinions. And I came across some renowned product professionals like Marty Kagan, Dan Olson, Teresa Torres. But what I realized is that at the beginning of their explanations, it was much more of a high-level statements, such as the product manager is supposed to wear multiple hats. The product manager has to be amazing at multitasking. And if you're familiar with product management concepts, this is not a new image for you. You talk about UX, business, and customer, UX tech and business, and you say that you are in the middle of it. But all of this is still high level, and the question still remains, what does a product manager should do? And then try to understand the specifics of the activities that a product manager has to do. Then I realized there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a lot of activities that a product manager has to do to be successful in his role. And when I look at this and connect to the initial high-level statements, it all made sense. And it all gave us an excuse as product managers to say, we still have a lot of work to do. And honestly, it is actually a lot of work. Fast forward to today, I strongly believe a lot of things have changed. So today, I'm going to be talking about 4 key trends that I personally have witnessed that are predominantly influenced by artificial intelligence and the shift of companies to become more profit obsessed or profit oriented. The first trend that I see that's happening right now is AI and task automation. 54% of the companies no longer expect you to do the task of building the data or gathering the data or modeling it. They expect you to make decisions. And the reason for that is tools such as Amplitude or Mixpanel, which is a product analytics tool that you're most familiar with, have AI embedded features that does that job, and your job as product managers is to make decisions in a much more faster and quicker way. And the same applies to the second point, which is around sentiment analysis and user feedback. Tools like Qualtrics and SurveyMonkey also have the same. Outside of this, which involves decision making, you also have other tasks such as writing a PRD or product requirements document, which can also be automated by Chat PRD, or a customized Chat GPT bot, which you can train to become an expert in writing a PRD. I still remember a time when I enrolled for a course by Teresa Torres on continuous discovery habits and how to effectively conduct user interviews. And one of the things that I was really proud of as a product manager was my capability to define research questions and convert them into interview questions. No longer something I can boast because ChatGPT can do the same. So not only tasks that requires you to make decisions are become obsolete, but also tasks that doesn't require you to do though is also something that AI has taken over or is automating. The second trend that I have seen is how businesses have become more profit-oriented and hence define more profit-oriented outcomes for product functions. 72% of product managers, especially in the growth stage of the companies, have now shifted their focus from top line metrics to unit economic metrics, whereby their focus is on how do I get more profitable, or in other words, how do I increase my EBITDA margins, or other metrics that influences the same. And as a result, the second point that I mentioned is around increase in customer retention strategies. Product managers really are thinking about how do I increase customer lifetime value and other churn mitigation things. And when I say the statement, a lot of product managers in here would say, Safwan, I'm actually doing this. This is basic. It's one of the things in the pirate metric. Why do you think we have not been doing this? The point that I'm trying to make and stress is not that you have not been doing that. It's just that it's become much more critical in today's world. And that's the shift in which the companies have turned to. And the last piece is around AI-driven profit optimization. A great example here is around how products have tried to embed AI within their products to increase conversions and efficiencies. And if I would take a look back at my company, Bayzat, what we have done is create an AI bot to be able to generate blog posts without, let's say, a lot of human intervention. And it actually is giving us amazing results at this point in time when it comes to associating with the right keywords, getting our pages the right impressions. And we are shortly on the path to a stage where, with almost no human intervention, depending upon the impressions, the bot will be able to predict and edit these blog posts to generate what we want to do, which is increasing our leads and conversion at the top of the funnel. And what it does for our business is reducing the cost that it requires to build those posts today. And the third shift that I see is strategic role in AI-driven product. To put it bluntly, this means that businesses and customers expect AI to be embedded in the solution to the problems that we are solving for. Unfortunately, that's the case. And more so than businesses, the customers also expect that today. What do I mean by that? A couple of years ago, customers were more, from a B2B context, customers were more relaxed and understanding when it comes to things and say that, okay, it is difficult for you to achieve. But now they come and propose saying that, hey, actually, why do you say it's difficult? AI can do that. So from a customer's mindset as well, AI first, when it comes to solution, has become something that they think of, let alone the business. And mind you again, guys, in no way I am advocating that we should think about AI in every solutions. That is absolutely wrong. What I'm trying to say is, for the problems that you have validated to be true, you are forced from both business and customer side to think about AI-enabled solutions for them. And the second point might not be a lot relevant to the region, but 60% of the companies expect product managers to lead the ethical and transparency side of AI. And the fourth trend that I see is increased cross-functional leadership and alignment with profit goals. Now, I talked about the shift to profit-oriented or becoming profit-obsessed from company side. And as a result, when you are working with the different stakeholders within the organization, you get to see that you're working a lot more with different stakeholders that you don't used to work before. Of course, you as a product manager have to work with sales, marketing, and different functions in the organization because, again, you are the center of everything. But what I'm trying to tell you today is, with the shift in becoming more profit-obsessed, you get to see a lot more people coming into the room who probably are more number-obsessed and less tech-savvy, and are probably also hippos in the room because they are directly contributing or responsible for the revenue or profit metrics. And as a result, the concept of collaboration and the importance of that and the skills that you need to be perfect at that is much more important and is getting much more relevant. And translating that to one of the key tasks we do as product managers, which is prioritization and trade-off, is a nightmare. What do I mean by that? When you are in the room and you have these people coming and influencing your decisions, it now becomes more of a context of what's the ROI on this? What's the cost about this? And take 2 years back, it was even a lot more difficult, and a lot of product managers can concur to me when we are prioritizing UX debts, tech debts, which are feature, things that we want to do, and always getting the push from business to focus on features and less on UX and tech debts. But that's even getting more complex, is the point that I'm trying to make. So those are the 4 key trends that I'm seeing overall. And when I witness these trends, one of the important questions, which is the talk of the day, came to my mind: do we still need product managers? When I look at this image, which is AI generated, I can say we still need product managers. Look at how many typos are there in this image. But keeping that aside, I had a chat with one of my colleagues and I asked him the same question. And he told me, honestly, man, I don't think we need product managers. And this exactly was my reaction. No, that doesn't make any sense. But I'm a product manager, right, in the end of the day, and it's in my blood. So I try to look at it from the perspective of how do I validate this and what metrics should I look into. So I know what product managers are expected to do, what are the trends that are currently influencing the things that a product manager should do. Now, taking these two, what should I compare this against, or what should I relate this against? And I came across 3 things that I wanted to focus on. One was B2B versus B2C context, the other was the investment stage, and the third was geography. There were a lot more other variables that I wanted to look into, but these 3 were prominent. And I decided to go with investment stage. And this, again, is a task that I would ask my fellow product professionals. If you're keen and interested in looking at the other variables and see for yourself how does it differ, will be inspiring for myself as well. But the metric that I selected was investment stage for 2 reasons. One was much more easy to relate for a wider audience like ourselves. And I strongly feel it's much more relevant for the UAE/Middle East market. So when it comes to investment stages, I group them into 3 buckets. So we have the early stage, growth stage, mature/expansion stage. Early stage is pre-seed/seed, growth stage is series A/B, and mature or expansion stage is series C+. And all the corporates, banks, MNCs, they would all fall within that third category. Now, what I did after this exercise was speak with relevant people in the industry and do my own secondary research on the changing trends within these set of organizations. And I'm going to be highlighting few statistics that stood out and influenced the later points that I'm going to make. 42% of startups fail due to misalignment with market needs. And you will say, Safwan, this is not news for us. I mean, we know companies are of a much higher risk as an early startup to fail than later stage startups. So yes, you're right, to fail is inevitable, and your skill set to actually test, validate, and fail faster, which will eventually lead to success, is critical for you as a product manager. And then I asked this question, how has this evolved today within all of these changing trends I talked about? And this is the key. The ability for people to enter, test, validate, and fail is much more faster today. What do I mean by that? If it took you 1 week to test and validate something before, you need to do it in a day today. If there were 3 people coming to kick your ass or kick your company, let's say, there are 300 people today because the entry barrier is much lower. So as a product manager working within an early stage startup, your job continues to be that, which is to ensure you validate things quickly, but at a much more faster rate. And honestly, the main point here is that you need to be leveraging AI predominantly in various forms or shapes. And that essentially is going to be the most important critical thing within the early stage startup as a product manager. And if I try to look at it from a growth stage standpoint, companies at growth stage where there is product functions are having a 25% better chance at growth than companies that delegate that to technical teams. And when I start to dig deeper, essentially what it means is that the importance of cross collaboration is evident, is extremely evident. And the reason for that is also in today's world, as I mentioned, that you have more and more putting noses in your business, I mean product, cross-functional collaboration gets more complex. And you yourself have to be the captain directing the company to its strategic goals, mission, and vision. Now that there is a lot more focus on profitability and there is a lot more emerging technologies, you actually and essentially have to take control of it. And you will also, as I mentioned earlier, see people coming in who are more number focused or have a better business acumen than you and have probably a lot less technology awareness than you. So now your job within a growth stage becomes, how do I become better at being a business-oriented product manager and control those numbers and metrics, but at the same time learn about technologies, be able to translate and educate your team, because as I mentioned before, you're the captain, you're going to be directing everyone into that path. So that essentially is going to be the biggest shift or change that I see within the product management space for growth stage. And the last piece is the mature stage organizations, and 68% of them expect PMs to not only execute but also contribute to strategic decisions. So similar to growth stage organizations, they expect much better cross collaboration. But the differentiation here is the importance of you to balance between innovation and maintaining market share. And to ensure that you drive innovation, you also need to be exceptional at delegation, and that will definitely be the main important job as a product manager in mature stage that you should be influencing at this point in time. How many engineers are in this room today? Show of hands. Okay, great. What I'm going to say next is a bit controversial, but personally, my thought, controversial thought for me is, when you talk about innovation, I personally feel that there are no better innovators than the engineering people themselves or people with an engineering background. But the point that I'm trying to make here is not that. The point that I'm trying to make here is, you as a person need to understand what your strengths are and play towards it and be amazing at delegating it. And that could be that you're amazing at innovating because you have that background and you need to find who else can help you on maintaining the market share piece, or it could be the other way around. So in a nutshell, you are going to be the driver of change, the embodiment of product mindset, and again, in the end of the day, as I mentioned, always owning the revenue metrics. To summarize, if I look at the three different stages, the key focus again in these three stages of the organization is in early stage, agility and rapid validation; in growth stage, optimization for revenue growth; and in mature stages, it is maintaining market dominance while balancing out the innovation side. Now that I have talked about the jobs of a PM, the changing trends, how I compare that to one metric, which is investment stages, I know a lot of information might have spilled out. So if some of you might come and ask me, Safwan, can you summarize your talk in one sentence? Here it goes. The answer to the question is, we still need product managers, but we are expected to get better at knowing our customers, knowing the business, and knowing the technology. Again, not new news, but the highlight is knowing better. We are expected to do a lot more better than before. And we are expected to deliver results, and bold, hyphen, color, whatever you want to do it to highlight this point, deliver results that are business metrics at a much faster pace and at a much lower cost. So buckle up, guys, because we are in for a extremely bumpy ride. Thank you.